Hey guys, I am on my way to grab a copy of Christina Aguilera on the cover of Cosmopolitan. The queen is on the cover. So I'm gonna take you with me. We're gonna go to Indigo, which is like the best magazine bookstore in Toronto. And then I'm gonna read the Cosmopolitan magazine to all of you. Let's look. They have it. I got the copy of the magazine after, as you saw, going on a little bit of a journey to get it. The cover is glorious. This is, I think, my favorite Cosmo cover she's done. I liked a Cosmo cover, I think it was from the UK, that was really major. I love that we're still getting some magazine covers from the Liberation era. The Liberation era is not over. About to tour, so I love that she is on the cover. This white suit is just so beautiful. I am so into her nails, the jewelry, hair and makeup is just everything. I really love the makeup for this look. And these headlines are just outrageous. But Cosmo headlines are always crazy. And I remember when this cover first came out, there were some fighters who were like, this is clearly fake. Like, look at these headlines. And I was like, Cosmo is known for having the craziest headlines. Like when your vagina acts weird and hot pics of hot guys drinking hot coffee. Like, I mean, what? I'm looking forward to reading the article with you guys and sharing my thoughts. So let's get into it. Ooh, it smells like perfume. I have arrived at the interview, and let's just start by going in on this double photo spread. We get the Statue of Liberty Tina moment that fighters have turned into quite possibly one of my favorite memes of Christina. I mean, so creative, so amazing. Love the coat. I believe it is a Norma Kamali coat. It is. The fashion credit on the other page says that. I love the hair and makeup too in this shot. I just love the way her face looks. She loves clutching her coat like this. I mean, she kind of is clutching her yellow fur coat in the same way, which is everything. I like this next photo. I have not seen this. It is a Legence trench coat. Yes, I love her face. I love the hair and makeup in this shot as well. She looks gorgeous. Okay, so let me read what all this says. So the liberation of Christina Aguilera, and Christina Aguilera is in like handwritten font, which is kind of cute. Articles by Kate Williams. It is photographed by Kai Z Fang, and it is styled by Aya Kanai, who I think was a judge on Project Runway Juniors. So it says, the pop star with the powerful pipes has dealt with it all, from loathsome music execs to criticism of her looks and love life. In this raw, personal, and vulnerable interview, she finally sets her demons free. Girl, I thought she set her demons free in the Liberation album. But apparently not. Apparently she is setting demons free in this interview, so we all better buckle up. I better see some demons flying in the sky. With a freaking headline like that, it better deliver, girl. Cosmo, come through, you better. All right, okay, I just turned the page, and it is Christina Aguilera is in pain. Okay, I hope she's okay. I'm looking forward to reading this. I hope everything's fine. Oh, I love this. These Converse looking shoes, really cute. I like how clean this pictures. It's crisp white, looks lovely. Again, she's looking just so gorgeous. I mean, I say this a lot, but how is she aging backwards? I don't understand. Right, I like the black nails too. A little contrasty, I kind of like that. But really cool. I love the simple, is it a tank top? I think so. Oh, it's a bodysuit. Okay. It's a white bodysuit by Yummy. Oh wait, Yummy. What brand? That's someone's brand. That's someone's brand. Oh my God. That's Heather from the Real Housewives of New York's brand. Hey mama, Yummy. Oh my God, you go Heather. I'm impressed. That is so funny actually. Heather from Housewives of New York. If you guys don't watch, she's not on anymore, but if you're a fighter, you should be watching Housewives because Christina is a huge Housewives fan. So why would you not be wanting to take part in that. Okay, so this is what the first kind of opening of the interview looks like. I'm gonna get into this bottom kind of questionnaire part later. It looks very interesting because I see Nicki, Demi, Kanye, and Blake Shelton like all under her. So she's like writing her thoughts about these people. So I'm really curious to see what she has to say. Okay, let's read. Headline, Christina Aguilera is in pain. Honey. Today, it's not the psychological or emotional kind, although she's certainly entitled to those, after a traumatic childhood and years of battling her way through a notoriously cruel industry. This time, it's physical. As she sits in her dimly lit studio on a sunny LA afternoon, the diva with the legendary voice has blood on her hands. Literally. What? Killing all these other pop bitches' careers? Is that what the blood's from? Sorry, my ear is bleeding, she says. Maybe her ear's bleeding because she's been listening to some new releases as of late. Lovely for your article. She dabs at a brand new piercing on her upper right ear. Oh yes, I think we saw that in one of her Instagram posts from earlier on this year. She dabs at a brand new piercing on her upper right ear, taking the wound in stride. Aguilera, 37, doesn't look a day over 27, I've gotta say. Like 23, insane. Christina is wedged into the corner of a black couch, black blanket around her legs, coffee mug in her clutches. She's barefaced, wearing a, you guessed it, black t-shirt and black pants, projecting a majorly chill vibe. Is this really the daring star who once made headlines with skunk stripe hair highlights? What? Skunk stripe? Come on. I mean, that's like a cute way of saying it, but it was just black streaks. Girl, skunk stripe. I can't with that description. And a triple tongue stage kiss with Britney and Madonna? Well, yes, ... and no. Okay, that stage kiss, I mean, I have to say, this is just my first criticism of this introduction of the article, to kind of just focus on, is this really the daring star who once made headlines with her skunk stripe hair highlights and a triple tongue stage kiss with Britney and Madonna? Those really don't define her career during that time. I find that to like be a little bit limiting, but that's just me. I just feel like maybe the writer, maybe focused on like a headline, and her hair. I don't really agree with that, but it's okay. I'm not the writer, so I just gotta keep on going. Like, I would have loved if they were like, the trailblazer who fucking knocked down the door for women to be sexually liberated in their music and not ashamed. I mean, maybe we'll get to that though, so it's okay. Quote, when I first started out, I would never have dreamed of doing an interview without makeup on. Oh, she says. She'd never have imagined going totally natural on an album cover either. But her latest record, Liberation, bears a photo of Christina with messy, damp hair, still platinum, but sans extensions. And wait, are those freckles? Okay. First of all, that's interesting that Christina has come to a point which is understood that she doesn't feel the need to look, quote unquote, like perfectly done up at all times, because we know Christina, she has always loved playing with makeup and serving looks, but that is truly, not to use the word, but that is truly a liberating feeling when you can walk into a room, you can meet a stranger, you can go to work and not be completely done to the nines. I think that is true liberation. I do. And yeah, that is so true. Her Liberation album cover was very bare bones, no makeup look. I still love getting glammed up, but I want to show imperfections on this go round, she says. Don't be fooled though, this isn't a comeback story or a reinvention. It's a reveal, and it's courageous. It's scary, but I'm up for the challenge. You can't tell me something I haven't already heard about myself anyway. Oh my god, that's true. She has been like, pulled through the mud in this industry, it's true. Some things everyone has heard about Christina. She entered the pop scene in the late 90s as a rail-thin teen with seriously plucked eyebrows. Okay, Cosmo, don't hold back. with seriously plucked eyebrows and a midriff on permanent display. It's true, she loved her midriff. Oh my god. Like her Y2K top 40 cohorts, Britney Spears, Jessica Simpson, and Mandy Moore, she was a perfectly packaged product whose every appearance was carefully orchestrated. So one thing that I get a little bit irritated with is in almost every print interview of like a major publication, there's always this like, I know they're focusing on the past, but there's always this like grouping her in with Britney. To be honest, I don't ever really hear Jessica Simpson and Mandy Moore, no shade to those two, but you know, she's always grouped in. Britney is always mentioned in like every single interview, and I just find it to be a little belittling of such a massive and iconic career. And I would prefer instead us, like we all know she started out with Britney in the Mickey Mouse Club. We all know that there was the rivalry. I just feel like when I sit down and I read one of these interviews, whenever I see Britney's name, as much as I love Britney, it just feels very monotonous. It feels like the same interview over and over again. And I'm sure she is so tired of hearing about Britney. And I mean, I think she even said in an interview from like 2000, she was doing like an interview in Germany and the reporter was like, tell us about like Britney, are you friends? And she was like, maybe because we're overseas, you guys like, you know, don't know, but I've been asked this so many times and me and Britney are fine. Like, she clearly was a little like annoyed by how many times she was asked the question because, you know, men are not asked this same question. Christina won the Best New Artist Grammy in 2000, and honey, you can only win it once, and she took it home, and so well deserved. And also this upcoming Grammys, honey, Liberation better be nominated for a Grammy. I'm sorry, it needs to be. So Christina won the Best New Artist Grammy in 2000, but it wasn't until her sophomore album, Stripped, 2 years later, that she set herself apart with a pair of butt-cheek bearing chops and highly sexual songs. The songs weren't that sexual. I'm just saying, I just feel like when these writers sit down, they actually don't know much about the subject they're writing about. I'm gonna be completely honest. They write about the subject as if they are just, you know, taking in headlines. They don't actually do much research. She did have some highly sexualized imagery. The music video for Dirty, of course, but even Dirty wasn't that sexual of a song. It's a party song. And Get Mine, Get Yours was very sexual for sure, but the whole album was not. The whole album was actually very deep, very emotional, and very meaningful. And she led with Dirty. It was a smart marketing move because she got everyone's attention. But the actual album as a whole, Stripped, is not Dirty. It includes Dirty as part of a story, but it is an inspirational and strength-building piece of work that needs to be written about as such. The coy ingenue from Genie in a Bottle was now gyrating in a microskirt to Dirty. So far it's like gyrating in a microskirt and butt cheek bearing chops, and it's like, oh, she's just so much more than this. Like, where is the talk of how talented and how much of a visionary she is for putting together so many different music videos for that album, for embarking on a killer tour, which is on DVD, stripped live in the UK, honey, you know, and for putting her all into her writing, and for having music that would speak to the LGBTQ community, and to speak to females all over the world to be empowered and to feel confident. Like, that is what Stripped was. If you were looking at it from the outside and you didn't actually listen to the work, then sure, gyrating in butt-bearing chops and skunk hair and, you know, overtly sexual songs, or no, what's the wording that they said? Highly sexual songs. Like, did you listen to the record? They didn't. I don't know. Okay, I'm getting overheated now, so let me just keep on going. Quote, I was feeling a sense of rebellion, she remembers, freed from the formulaic experience. I just threw out anything I felt was a little plastic or a little stale or was eating me up with superficiality. Interesting. Very interesting. Not everyone was ready to give her room to remodel herself. Many critics didn't take kindly to a young woman, especially a former Mouseketeer, singing about sex on her own terms. Okay. Music writers at major publications called her skeezy, a strumpet, and a tart, and likened her new image to something out of a hooker convention. One of my biggest pet peeves are when men typically compare like a sexual woman to a hooker. First of all, nothing wrong with being a hooker, nothing wrong with being a prostitute, nothing wrong with selling sex. It is your body, it is your choice, and you do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anyone and as hopefully you're not hurting yourself. I hate the comparisons of hooker to women who are either, like wearing revealing outfits, are embracing their beauty, their sexuality, their female power. Hate always correlating it to being a hooker, because hookers are living their life. And I even hate the word hooker. These women are working and they are doing their best. And if they aren't hurting anyone, I think we need to leave them out of these unfair, sexist comparisons. I know that's not what the article is saying, but that's what like male music execs were saying. But a lot of people were actually saying that. A lot of women were calling her that. A lot of publications were calling her that. I mean, she was really put through it in a very unfair way, for sure. Christina's dirty video was spoofed on Saturday Night Live with the words whore and hoe. Now, I feel like comedy is a bit different. I actually watched that SNL skit. I actually thought it was funny. I actually thought it was well done. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Xtina, come through. That was everything. Comedy, it's going to go there. It's going to push buttons. I feel like comedy is equal opportunity for everyone. When it comes to like music reviewers and critics, that is when their words I find really, really matter. And it's back then that I think I was really let down, and I think a lot of women were let down, and I think a lot of people in general were let down by how she was treated. It's hard to hear yourself being called names, she says. I remember being hurt by these commercials on MTV pitting Britney as the good girl and me as the bad girl. It's like, if I'm going to be demure and innocent, that's okay. But if I'm going to just be myself, I'm trouble. So I'm about to turn the page. Before I do, I think that the reason why Britney and Christina were pitted against each other so much is because the industry is about making money. And what do people love more than, a catfight or a battle or competition? People eat that shit up. People watch reality competition shows all the time. People love the Olympics. People love seeing people compete. People love seeing someone torn down. People love seeing someone risen up. And at the end of the day, there has to be someone who kind of takes the fall. And it's kind of sick and it's kind of twisted. So I'm on to the next pages, and here is a gorgeous picture of Christina. I've actually seen this photo already on social media wearing a Women, Women, Women t-shirt. I love the t-shirt's by a brand called Sandro. I love this jacket with like the tracksuit stripes on the sleeve. That is everything from a designer named Barbara Boo. I believe I can't really pronounce the name. B-U-I, anyway. Love the earrings, love the ring, and I love this t-shirt. I really do. So I'm going to continue with the interview. She starts telling stories of music execs treating her badly. There were the male reps who never left the room when she did clothes fittings. Oh my God. The person who called her difficult because she was exhausted and yawned during a meeting. The guys who sat at dinner with her talking crudely about other women's bodies as if Christina weren't there. I love the female body, and I think it's something to be proud of, not something that men should dictate ownership of. Amen, Sister Soul. She says dirty was extremely controversial at the time, but it would be nothing now, which I agree. And it wasn't even that big of a deal at the time because rappers were doing videos and male pop stars like Ricky Martin were doing videos where they were like totally objectifying women. She was just celebrating her own body and the bodies of other women. That's all. I hope I paved the way and helped set the ground rules that women can be any version of themselves that they want to be, and proud of it. More than a decade later, former nice girls like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez got some flack for embracing racier projects, but SNL wasn't cracking jokes about them spreading STIs. Yes, that happened to Christina. Yeah, I remember. And yeah, I mean, an STI, I mean, they are so common. And having an STI should not be something that is like used as an insult. I mean, how many men have STIs, honey? Like, it is not just like a female thing. And I can't believe that she was criticized and claimed to have STIs. Like, I've never heard of a man being, you know, attacked and being said about him like, oh, he has an STI. Like, she still regrets not standing up to harassment from the men in her life, including her own father. Throughout Christina's childhood, he was physically and verbally abusive to her mother. Quote, my dad was very dominant with my mom, and I always knew I was never going to let a man take advantage of me like that. But making it in the business was a completely different mindfuck. I didn't even know to think about it like, wow, this person's really disgusting, the way he talks about women. I had no super strong women around me, and I thought feeling inferior, small, or helpless just had to be accepted. Oh my God, I can imagine. Like, it's like you're brainwashed to think that this is okay behavior because it's like all you know in your work life. It's crazy. When it comes to her personal relationships, she says, I made up my mind at a really young age what I had to do for myself. I never wanted a man to tell me what I could and couldn't do, what I could and couldn't spend. Yes, honey, with your coin. I always knew I had to be the queen of my castle. You are the queen of the world. Okay. She admits that at certain points she might have taken that idea a little too much to heart. Quote, I've always been that 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of person who's like, you're not gonna break me before I break you. But I find it more rewarding at this point to work through that friction and put a mirror in front of myself and be like, is this really his issue or yours? I mean, that's, I think, probably a lesson that a lot of people need to learn in their relationships over time, you know? And I think that as time goes on, you learn more about yourself, you learn more about your partner, and instead of having a guard up, you slowly let your guard down, and whatever hurt or joy comes from it is a learning lesson. It's a hard-won outlook based on a few relationship failures, including her now dissolved first marriage to music exec Jordan Bratman, with whom she has a 10-year-old son, Max. One crucial lesson, avoid pairing up with another star. I've had opportunities, quote, I've had opportunities, but it isn't my style to date another person in the business, she says with a smirk. There's gotta be something wrong with you if you wanna be in this business. I mean, hi, I definitely have my issues. I think that I can only handle one celebrity in the relationship and I need to be it. Okay, girl, that was a very Leo quality to say. Work. For the past 4.5 years, she's been engaged to producer Matthew Rutler, 33, whom she met when he was a production assistant on her 2010 film Burlesque, iconic cult classic. The two have a 4-year-old daughter, Summer Rain. Their long engagement isn't a sign of cold feet, she says. They just don't have time for wedding planning. Quote, I'm a planner and a perfectionist, so I want it to all be right. In the meantime, Christina has the dynamics of a LTR down, long-term relationship. Quote, the routine can be monotonous, she admits. You gotta be spontaneous. Being a sexual person who's comfortable in my own skin, a sense of adventure is important to me. Going on road trips, staying in hotels, end quote. Lately, Christina has been thinking about her own freedom. From her pop starlet image, her distressing past, her bad relationships, and the sense that she may have finally found it. On Liberation, the track Searching for Maria borrows a few bars from The Sound of Music because Julie Andrews' character is one of Christina's icons. Oh my God, do you remember in the MTV Diary when she would talk about like running to her window and throwing it open and like singing Sound of Music? Ah! Love that. Before my first record deal, before anything, it all started with being inspired by how free she looked in those hills, she says. And with that thought, she heads out into the light to play with her kids. The pain from earlier on seemingly forgotten. Oh, I like how they took the ear bleeding pain and then the pain being seemingly forgotten. Nice imagery. I like that. And that's the end of the article. I'm gonna finish the questionnaire. So, nothing is less sexy than, and she writes, arrogance, deceit, greed, and superficiality. I'd love it if no one ever asked me this question again. And she writes, "The corniest thing a guy can do is coyly ask, knowing already very well who I am, quote, 'So what is it you do for a living?' ... My response is, quote, 'Work at McDonald's. My name's Samantha,' end quote. Honey, her name is Samantha. Remember that Sex and the City impression? Could Christina be cast in the Sex and the City 3 movie as Samantha? Let's make this happen. One thing every woman should do in her life," and she writes, "Own a great vibrator, exclamation point. Yes, queen of sexual liberation, work. Of all the rumors I've heard about myself, this one is the craziest," and she writes, "I stopped giving energy to baseless stupidity a long time ago. I've heard it all, honey." By baseless stupidity, I think she's talking about PerezHilton.com, honey. Okay, then she ends off with, "Stay strong, sexy, and in control of your own..." What does that say? I don't know what this says, you guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think this word says. Oh man, and I love her signature, the red heart, red X, yes! I don't know, what I think I would love is for, I mean, she's done a few of these in the past. Like she did an interview with, I think, she did a conference with Billboard magazine, and that was an in-person interview, and it was amazing because she talked so much about her art and the industry. And then she, I think, like in her Rolling Stone interviews, her Maxim Blender interviews, the interviews and articles are more focused on her work. And that is what I want to read about. I don't really need to know about everything going on with her personal life and her long engagement and her, pain from the past, which, I respect the fact that someone can come out the other side, and it's an inspiring message to repeat for people that, you can come from a very tough upbringing and still make it and still be successful and happy and content. But I would have just loved to hear more about liberation. I would have loved to hear more quotes about the work. And obviously, those questions might have been asked, and it might be an issue of the editor, maybe just cutting certain parts. Maybe Christina, maybe they just didn't really ask those questions. Maybe she didn't really talk about it that much. But when I read interviews like this, I love to hear things that I hadn't heard before about her process, her artistic expression. I love her though, and these pictures are great. I would have loved more photos, obviously. I mean, I could always do with 10 more pictures, but the photos that they included, I love how she looks in every single shot. Callie Kennedy did the makeup. I know she did the makeup for the Paper Magazine shoot. So, this is a stunning, makeup, no makeup look. No makeup look. But yeah, this was a fun article. I don't think there's anything else in this magazine that I need to see. But what did you think? What was your favorite part of the interview? Your favorite look? Did you like this type of video? I mean, I feel like this is like a story time with Nady. Let me know if you would want to see more of these types of videos. Maybe different magazines that come out with our queen on the cover. I'd be happy to do. And I am so looking forward to the Liberation Tour. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, then subscribe to my channel. And if you hit the bell icon, you will be notified every time I upload. If you want to connect on social media, my username is @NadyWeb across all platforms. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!